A senior Kremlin official has warned that any major escalation by Ukraine in its conflict with separatists based along the border with Russia would result in Ukraine ceasing to exist as the world knows it. Dmitry Kozak, who serves as Russian President Vladimir Putin's deputy chief of staff, said Thursday during a virtual talk among experts that in the event of a major offensive by Ukrainian forces, Russia would be compelled to defend its citizens currently living in the eastern Ukrainian border regions that declared autonomy from the central government in Kyiv 7 years ago. Kozak, who himself was born in Ukraine when it was joined with Russia as part of the Soviet Union, warned this would result in the neighboring nation's collapse. I support the assessments that also exist inside Ukraine, that the beginning of hostilities is the beginning of the end of Ukraine, Kozak said, according to the state-run RIA Novosti news outlet. He described such a move on Kyiv's part as a self-inflicted wound, a shot not in the leg, but in the face. The remarks came the same day that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky traveled to the frontlines amid a spike in clashes between his troops and rebels he accuses Moscow of backing directly. The Ukrainian leader said earlier this week following talks with NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg that Kyiv joining the Western military alliance would be the only way to end the conflict. Kozak dismissed this possibility. Where is NATO? Where is the conflict in Ukraine? Where is the logic? Kozak asked. This is also the beginning of the collapse of Ukraine. As heightened tensions and intensified clashes surround the 7th anniversary of the Donbas region conflict that has been largely frozen in recent years, Kozak was not the only top Russian figure to reference Ukraine possibly ceasing to exist. Citing Putin, Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov told Channel One's Big Game program last week that those who would try to start a new war in Donbas will destroy Ukraine. Other top Moscow officials have issued similar language over the years. The Russian president discussed a war during a phone call Wednesday with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who has been critical of Russia's role. A readout from the German said the conversation touched upon, among other things, the increased Russian military presence in the vicinity of eastern Ukraine. The chancellor demanded that this buildup be unwound in order to de-escalate the situation, Merkel's office said. The Kremlin gave a different account of the conversation. Vladimir Putin drew attention to the provocative actions of Kiev, which is now deliberately aggravating the situation along the line of contact, the Kremlin said. It added that the two leaders noted the need for the Kiev authorities to implement earlier agreements without fail, in particular those aimed at the launch of direct dialogue with Donetsk and Lugansk and at legally formalizing the special status of Donbas. The mostly Russian-speaking Ukrainian provinces of Donetsk and Lugansk and Donbas declared independence as two separate people's republics in May 2014 amid nationwide unrest in the wake of an uprising that overthrew the central government in Kyiv. Local populations supportive of Russia resisted the new Ukrainian administration in these regions, as well as in the Crimean Peninsula, which Russia annexed following a referendum months earlier in March.